Starmer, what does he do next? What he does next is he just looks out at the screen and says, shut up, because you voted me in 5 years ago. Wait for 29. Judge me then. Because he's doing the hard stuff. He's never going to be popular in the beginning. But when you look at how the media, combined with social media and foreign interference, that combination is what's pushing the agenda. I'll tell you how upset I am by yesterday. I rejoined the Labour Party yesterday because we need to stand behind him. The reasonable people, not the crazy leftists, the reasonable people. And there is no alternative. There's no alternative to Starmer. He's dull. He looks like a man who's about to burst into tears all the time. But that's not the qualification for the job. Come on. And I'll tell you the other thing. His director of communications resigned the other day.
Yeah,
I thought he didn't have one from how badly they communicate. I'd have sacked the director of communications 6 months ago.
I don't think he's been there 6 months. I think he's only been there 3. So they kind of did, which in many ways makes your point. But possibly we shouldn't even know the name of or know the existence of the director of communications. There's a bit of chicken and egg here, obviously, but the media are going to be feral and febrile all the time, and they're going to go after Labour prime ministers and Labour politicians more than anybody else, because their job essentially is to protect wealth, most obviously the wealth of Viscount Rothermere or Rupert Murdoch or the Barclay brothers until relatively recently. But also, Keir Starmer's personal ratings are absolutely through the floor. And nobody blamed that on the media when it happened to Boris Johnson or Jeremy Corbyn. There are massive problems there, but I feel we've had those phone-ins. We've picked over those bones. I'm just challenging you on the idea that none of this is self-inflicted, because that's palpably ridiculous. What you're saying is he just needs to carry on what he's been doing thus far, and that is frankly a little bit weird, Chris.
No.
Well,
take my point. The problem is what he's been doing well thus far is not being communicated. Now, the Mandelson thing, that's been dragged through the gutter endlessly the last few days, yes. But he was appointed for a specific reason to handle a particular gentleman, and despite all the baggage, there probably wasn't anyone else at the time who could do that. Subsequent revelations, and you make decisions. U-turns are not U-turns when they're adjustments. So I'm behind him. You know, he's in a difficult position, but when you see social media posts, there's one the other day which shows a graph of education versus voting intentions, which plainly says that if you're a thicko, you vote Reform. Now, that is so disparaging. It's such a bad thing to put out there, because that's elitist, being judgmental.
It's tricky though, isn't it? Because education levels there is, correlation and causation are curious cousins at the best of time, but there is clearly a link between education and not being frightened of modernity, or not being frightened of people who aren't like you or don't look like you or don't sound like you, because education broadens the mind. And I kind of agree with what you say, but you need to be very narrow-minded to think that Nigel Farage is the answer to anything, don't you?
He's not the answer to anything. Well, you know that, I know that, any reasonable person. But, I'm shouting into a void here, because anyone listening to you...
You've got 1.45 million listeners. What are you talking about?
But that's my point exactly. We all like what you say.
You don't all like it. You should read my inbox. Right, here's Julian. How dare you suggest that this is... Are you ready? This is from Julian. OMG. Okay. O'Brien's incoherent, grey, droning monologues are mirroring the miserable weather. God help us. You see? He's listening.
Oh, that's the kind of people who respond to my posts on Facebook.
That's the kind of person that votes for Nigel Farage. In fact, I shouldn't say that. Let's have a look at his history and see if he really is as awful as he said. Oh, here we go. Why are you fixated with sticking labels on Donald Trump when our own authoritarian Prime Minister is arguably equally as dangerous to the British people? Just remind me about the British people that have been shot in the face by Keir Starmer's stormtroopers recently, would you, Chris?
Yeah, well, this is the point exactly, isn't it?
Hang on, he hasn't finished. British people are frightened at the prospect of another 4 years of Starmerism, says the stupidest man to text me so far today, but it's only 10:27. So don't let Julian waltz away with the gold medal when there is so much time for you to be stupider than him on 84850. I like your analysis. Are you an upbeat man? Are you a glass half full kind of character, Chris?
Well, I am and I'm not. It depends what I read first thing in the morning. But, from my perspective, I'm a lifelong socialist, but I'm also a business owner. And yes. I know a lot of people in if you like, the business world who think their natural affiliation with the Conservative Party. I would take a Conservative Party that was left-leaning in the same way as I will take a Labour Party that is right-leaning but still aware of what they need to do as a socialist party.
Yes.
I'd probably prosper more under a Conservative government, but I have a moral compass.
I've never been a Tory budget. I didn't come out better off than I went into it. Same with you, I imagine.
Well, it's more about a philosophical mindset to who do you sit with. I thanks to you, I bought my subscription for what was the New European is now the World.
Excellent.
And I genuinely, you were interviewing the editor when he was just transitioning to the new program, and I, as soon as I finished listening, I went on, signed up, and now I get it, and I read it. And I have to say, there's some good stuff in it, but most of it seems to be elite intellectuals, philosophers.
Yeah.
Very nice stuff to read.
But it's not going to butter any parsnips on the doorsteps.
It's navel-gazing.
Yeah.
And I think Alice, I like his stuff, but no, I think with Starmer, coming back to your point, eventually, he just needs to dig in.
Just
and I
carry
think
on.
What we saw yesterday with the cabinet getting behind him.
Yes.
And with, I think, if anybody bothered to count...
Go on, I've got to hurry you now because the news is coming up.
Yeah. You'd see there's more behind him than against him, and it's like those posts that say 1/3 of the population don't like this. Well, yeah, 2/3 do.
In my mind, what I want from a leader is a vision, integrity, and accountability.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, those things don't really sell on newspapers. I mean, Nigel Farage has got none of those things, and he's extremely popular. I think that Mr. Starmer, I think his problem is that he's been trying to please so many people at the same time, and he's forgotten to be a leader. Sometimes being a leader, you're going to be unpopular. If you set out your vision and you say, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to be accountable for the results, and we're going to tell you the truth, that I think those are good attributes for leadership to have. But I think most people in this country, they either want someone to throw stones at or there's someone to lift over their head. And they don't really understand what leadership means and how to apply their
So what does
knowledge.
it look like? What does it look? Because I don't know whether it's a failing on my part or not. I'm always slightly worthy of, all those books in airports about leadership. They're usually they're usually more prominent than mine, so I've probably got a bit of a bias here. You're buying the diary of a CEO or whatever it is, and there must be something to it. But if those books worked, everyone would be running a FTSE 100 company, wouldn't they? If they'd have to make it the FTSE 10,000 to accommodate all the massive successful companies by running all these people who've picked up leadership tips from airport books. But what would it look like in the context of, if I was to really put you on the spot, in the context of the winter fuel allowance, what would leadership have looked like?
Well, leadership would mean, Great Britain, this is what we can afford. And we can help people with their winter payments to this amount. It might mean we might have to do some means testing and stuff like that. But this is what we can do. This is what we can afford. And we will do that. Now, some people are going to be happy. Some people are going to be sad. Some people are going to be mad. But the fact is, this is what we can do. This is what we will deliver, and that's what you pay your taxes for, and we'll do that. Now, that to me is leadership.
We're now joined by Jezebel Hockeystick from Reform UK, who would like to explain that her grandmother died in the war and fought against the Nazis, and also this, and she deserves her winter fuel allowance. Thank you very much. And the crowd starts cheering. Yeah,
but Reform, they don't want power. Because
that's not the point, is it? I'm picking holes in your plan. I'm not analysing their prospects. I'm picking holes in your plan. There's the person over there selling tickets for the Speak Your Weight machine, and that's you.
Yes.
And here's me selling tickets for the Ghost machine. Roll up! I'm going to scare the life out of you. Oh, foreigners! Boats. What was that again? What was your boring stuff about what we can and can't afford, Paul?
Well, accountability means, look, no, we can't give everyone gold bars. We can't afford that.
Don't put that on a poster. Don't put that on a poster.
Well,
Farage is probably beating you to it. That'll be the next big policy announcement. Gold bars for everybody white.
Indeed, because that's what he's selling all the time.
Gold bars? Well, he's not. I mean, I think he does actually take money from a gold bullion company among all the other jobs that he does when he's nowhere near Clacton. But I don't think he's actually offering gold bullion to all the white people yet.
Yeah, well, opposition, it's easy to say what you want to say.
Yeah, but I think leadership's really hard, and you're trying to make it sound easy. So the winter.
No. But on the contrary, leadership is difficult, and it's often unpopular. But it's the best. I mean, look, when I go to the doctor, sometimes he's going to ask me to take some medicine, which tastes horrible. The fact of the matter is, it's going to make me better. But I'm not going to enjoy doing it.
But this is the interesting thing, isn't it? So in opposition, you can have a narrative of victimhood and broken Britain, even if you supported everything that broke Britain. The four donkeys of... Hang on a minute, mate. Can I say it again yet? Can I do it again? Has it been a big enough gap? Yeah, the four donkeys of the crapocalypse, trademark copyright JOB 2026. You can be a big fan of all four of those donkeys, austerity, Brexit, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and claim that you're somehow going to fix the country because that's populism. That's making promises that you know you won't be able to keep. He's got to explain to people, we can't afford this and we need to do that. But then he changed it. Then he says, oh, no, actually, we've changed our minds about farming inheritance tax, about the winter fuel allowance, about all sorts of... That's the bit... That's where you're talking about, I think. That's leadership would just involve buckling in for a bit longer and saying, sorry, we're not changing course. We need to explain better why we have to do it.
So that's the problem that he's fallen into, like I said at the beginning. He's trying to please everyone. He's falling into that rabbit hole of saying, well, yeah, we can do everything and we're going to make everyone happy. And he's deluding himself. You can't do that.
Because that is a form of populism, in a way.
Exactly,
he's trying to do a kind of managerial populism, which ain't ever going to work, is it?
Exactly. I mean, trying to sell bad news when you're going to have to give bad news is never going to be popular. But sometimes, if you're a leader, I mean, I think it was the Prime Minister of Sweden, and he said, listen, we're going to have to do some things for our country. You're not going to like it, and I may lose the premiership, but it'll make the country better. And that's exactly what he did. And I said, boy, that's the leader I want. That he's prepared to do something that's the right thing for the country, but he may lose.
And stick with it because it's right.
Stick with it.
Okay, so I like it. And I mean, I guess the problem then becomes whether or not Starmer can make the changes that you so clearly articulate. Before you go, quick quiz. Paul, do you want a quick quiz?
Okay, go ahead.
How much money is Nigel Farage paid by the gold bullion company that he does actually work for, while simultaneously being the MP for Clacton and very busy on Cameo, offering up accidental support for everyone from the IRA to imprisoned paedophiles? Is it A, £200,000, B, £300,000, or C, £400,000 a year for a second job promoting gold?
Well, I have to say, from the tone of your voice, I'd pick 400,000.
I've got to stop. I've got to be more like a poker player. I've got to have a better poker face. Is it A, £200,000? Is it B, £300,000, or is it C, £400,000? Paul's right, £400,000. But you can't really call it a second job when it's a seventh job, can you? What would you do if you were Prime Minister? Ban them all. Ban all the second jobs. Have we got any presenters on LBC at the moment that are in Parliament? I quite like that, actually. I think if you're doing a phone-in show where you can ring in and get on air, even if you hate the bloke who's on, hi, Julian, or if you are taking calls from people who can really put you on the spot, then it's actually quite healthy. But obviously, if you're on GBBs having your toes tickled by everybody in the building, then it's not. But you sometimes have to throw away the good to get rid of the much bigger bad. Ban all MPs from all second jobs. You want to come out with something big and shiny that really distinguishes you from everybody else, then that might be just one thing. That wasn't on the list of questions. That one big flipping huge blunderbuss of a policy that he could just bring in now as part of a reset. Ban all second jobs. Ban them all. So Lord Wolfson wouldn't be able to work for Roman Abramovich anymore, the sanctioned Russian oligarch, and the shadow attorney general simultaneously. Me neither. But also, all of the MPs who double up or triple up or quadruple up or, I think in Nigel's case, octuple up would have to concentrate instead on doing the job that they're actually paid to do by the British taxpayer. It'll never catch on. Alan's in Prestwich. Alan, what would you like to say?
Morning, James.
Morning, Alan.
Very well. I think is it 2 callers ago. If Kay's listening, will you get your comms team in order?
What does that mean? Oh, I've got there finally. What does that mean?
Right, what it means is, James, is to say, look at the number of boat crossings that have tumbled. Look at the waiting list that have tumbled. Look at, how we're getting more and more alignment with Europe. Look how the economy's not doing too bad. Look how we saved the steel industry. Look how we're getting orders for our shipyards.
That's not how you improve your communications, mate. That's just
you get that message.
How?
James.
How?
By getting the comms team. So actually,
no, they're not like magic bullets. You can't just say get the comms team. Get what's that spin-off from Breaking Bad? Better Call Saul. You can't just call Saul. You've got to tell me how you do. Listen, I'm the editor of the Daily Telegraph. Alan in Prestwich is on the phone trying to get me to put good news about Labour on the front page. Alan, over to you. Nice of you to call.
Well, there's more media streams on the right-wing press.
Don't make me. Yeah, what though? What? Where? What? Who? Why?
Social
Where?
media,
When?
We can do press conferences. We can do the television.
I quite like press conferences. I do quite like the idea of press conferences.
Yeah, I mean,
Farage is having Nuremberg rallies every other day, so we could have some press conferences. We could have some prime ministerial addresses. I mean, the problem is he's got to say the same thing again and again and again, which is, I promise you things are going to get better, but not tomorrow. And there is quite a lot of mess to clear up. And then they all start shouting and social media goes nuts. And remember, social media is gamed and bought and paid for by bad actors and foreign entities. They will start covering whatever he announces in audio. But there's a sense, and I'm with you on this, that they haven't tried hard enough.
No, they haven't. The thing is, as well, Jane, I'm a local councillor, right? And there's no money.
Yeah,
there is no money. That's why people are cheesed off with the potholes.
You're joking, aren't you? Reform have just saved millions in Kent.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
no, my mistake. No, they haven't. Sorry, they just said that they had, but the figures don't back up the claims.
To the north of me in Lancashire, they're closing care homes. To the south of me in Derbyshire, they're closing the household waste recycling centres. And, and the interesting... What are you going on about reform? We're door-knocking a lot.
Yeah.
And people say, well, we don't mind what you're doing around here. We don't like your government. And we say, OK,
keep it local.
The local elections in May, it's either us or reform. And I tell you what, 9 times out of 10 people say, you what? Reform? I am not voting for them. So, Brother Farage, the multimillionaire, and don't forget his £73,000 EU pension, he's not as popular as he thinks he is in some areas.
It doesn't have to be. That's the nature of our electoral system. But I take your point, and I'll take my hopium wherever I can find it at the moment. Quick quiz for you, Alan, before you go.
Please, James.
OK, Reform-led Worcestershire County Council, which came to power, like all Reform-led councils, on a promise... I haven't finished. I've started, so I'll finish. Came to power on a promise to cut council tax. Is it poised to raise council tax by... And I'm going to change my voice here so I don't give away the answer. Ready?
I've read The Guardian, James.
Is it in The Guardian? I don't know. I only read the Daily Mail. Is it A, 8%? Is it B, 9%? Or is it C, 10%?
I think it's 9%.
Ding, 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 ding. Top of the class.